on E do it fast. Control, no, E on Thomas, Percy, Gordon, Diesel, two, Duck, James, Toby, and the two, fat, the gang, that's sex all day. Ha 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 ha. Control, on E do it fast. Control, no, E on.
What's up, Team CO5? It is Charlie05 here, and today, let's talk about the kitty rides were made by Memo Park and was made for Chuck E. Cheese over the years. Let's talk about the rides that you had ever missed in your childhood over the years, and so do I. So, let's talk about these kitty rides were made by Memo Park, starting off with the Deltafly, otherwise known as Superfly kitty ride by Memo Park. Well, this ride is made in the 90s or 2000s, but according to this YouTuber about this broken Superfly kitty ride, it is mute and fried. I watched it all the time, and they're saying that the ride was made in 2003, but it was made in the 90s according to this kitty ride wiki. Also, according to the Kitty Ride Wiki, this ride is made in the 1990s or 2000s, not 2003. Nice try, YouTuber. Nice try. Also, this ride is all about hopping on the ride, and you're gonna ride this bike with a hang glider thingy with a fan on the back like a propeller. And also when you go up and spins around like an actual helicopter. And also you can ride the kitty ride up to the ceiling. And also when you insert a token when you're a kid, the ride goes up and it plays some flying sounds coming from an airplane or helicopter. And also, by the way, the music plays in the background for both Superfly and Deltafly kitty ride, or the Eli helicopter kitty ride, none other than the Crazy Balloon. What I called is the James Bond theme song playing in the background, and it was weird and copyrighted. And also, I saw this kitty ride in some of the commercials, or even in animatronic show tapes, like the one can be also seen in Every Boy, Every Girl music video in 2007, throughout the Bring the House Down music video. Like, the song was Bring the House Down that features this ride. And the ride features in the Bring the House Down music video, as sung by Chuck E. Cheese and Munch's Make Believe Band, has been singing Bring the House Down. Like, the song called Bring the House Down. During the Bring the House Down music video, this ride also appears twice in the Bring the House Down music video, which is a song by S Club 7 in the 2000s, and covered by Chuck E. Cheese and Munch's Make Believe Band during the January 2002 segment 3, while this ride appears again in Every Boy, Every Girl 2007 music video in the September 2007 segment 1 after All Star by Smash Mouth, which is a Shrek theme song from Shrek. And also, as for this ride called the Eli helicopter kitty ride that you know in the comments, but after I'm done watching this video all about this ride, also, this kitty ride is like the Delta/Superfly kitty ride. This ride is pretty familiar to you. I saw this ride in the September 2000. Also, I saw this ride in some of the commercials or animatronic show tapes. Like, there's one in the September 2000 show that Duncan Brandon was the voice actor of Mr. Munch, Larry the Technician, and Chuck E. Cheese riding this helicopter bike kitty ride during the closing time in the September 2000 show. And there was a Tube Explorer. The Tube Explorer was riding this ride. and they called him a helicopter than a helicopter bike kiddie ride thingy. Also, I saw another ride was not. Also, I found another ride that is not in a Chuck E. Cheese, but it was in a Hannah Banana location, and it was located somewhere. Or also, I saw this ride that can be appeared that is located. Like, I saw this ride that is not at Chuck E. Cheese, but the ride was also in the Hannah Banana location, which is located somewhere in North or South America and other countries. And also, I saw this kiddie ride only on YouTube, not something in real life. And also, I made a drawing of these rides. And also, this ride is pretty familiar to you. And also, as for this ride called the Glider Rider, this is the original version, but my local Chuck E. Cheese have that ride too. Except it doesn't have a circle at the front of the ride, and it does not rotate. And doesn't have this yellow thing connected to the back of the black box. And also, it doesn't have a Phase 5 Chucky logo at the back of the fan, and it doesn't have a Rockstar Chuck statue on top. And the seats that features the previous rides, what they look similar to this one for safety. Like ride safety on this ride. And also, my local Chuck E. Cheese had a similar ride called the Chuck E.'s Glider Rider rather than the original Glider Rider. It says Delta Fun Welcome, or even the Eli Helicopter Kiddie Ride, or the Crazy Balloon, or the Delta Superfly Kiddie Ride. And also, as for this Crazy Balloon, I don't remember seeing that. I remember seeing that in another location in New York when I was a little kid while I was climbing up on that statueless kiddie ride. So, as for the Crazy Balloons kiddie ride, so when I was a kid, I remember going to another location, and I remember climbing up on that statueless version of a 1994/1995 kiddie ride with no statue on it. It's a statueless version of a 1994/1995 kiddie ride. Again, I'm going to climb up on that statueless version of that 1994 and 1995 kiddie ride. So when I was a kid, I was gonna climb on that. I was climbing on that statueless version of the 1994 and the 1995 photo ride. And I take a look at that Crazy Balloon kiddie ride. It has a crazy balloon, like this ride is a crazy balloon, and I don't remember seeing that scary cloud blowing the hot air balloon bike thingy up and down, and I don't remember riding this because I'm afraid of heights when I was younger. See, I had a drawing of these rides. See, I had a drawing of the Crazy Balloon kiddie ride, like we saw before. Remember in my art class at my high school when I was like 11th grader and junior, I made a drawing of this Crazy Balloon kiddie ride, and it was pretty more accurate. And I made a Deltafly/Superfly kiddie ride, and even this Eli Helicopter kiddie ride. This is version 1, and version 2. This is version 2, I think. Now, let's talk about someone about their thoughts or their explanations, or like they're explaining and discussing and complaining all about the kiddie rides, how they're working on that. Now, let's go to this here. I have to pause the video. So I can talk about the ride. So as if I'm watching this video, all about this helicopter thing at Chuck E. Cheese is a defunct Land After Dark, that helicopter thing at Chuck E. Cheese by Defunct Land After Dark. Also, in this description, in this Defunct Land After Dark video, Kevin attempts to find every bit of information he can on that helicopter ride thing that was at Chuck E. Cheese while taking a break from researching animatronics. Solution 45,051 and everyone said, when I was little, I was riding this thing and my cup of coins fell off. When I was at the top, almost every kid in the place swarmed and grabbed my coins like piranhas. I had to watch this frenzy as the helicopter slowly floated back down. And also, when I was a kid, I quickly figured out that the base of the machine had optical sensors that prevent it from coming down. If anyone was under the helicopter, based on that discovery, I placed a plastic token cup right next to one of the optical sensors so that I stayed up at the top forever and get unlimited time out of my token, lol. So this is why that kid got stuck, lol. Yes, but it's BS. The fire department would need to be called. All you had to do was move whatever was on the base of the game, and it would come down. Also, there was another sensor on a part that looked like a helicopter landing struts. I'll just get in a second. Like I said, yes, but it's BS. The fire department would need to be called. All you had to do was move whatever was on the base of the game and it would come down. Yes, but it's BS. The fire department would need to be called. All you had to do was move whatever was on the base of the game and it would come down. Also, there was another sensor on a part that looked like a helicopter landing struts like this, and they call them a safety bar in those training videos in the circa year 2002. If a kid put their feet on it, it would go up and wouldn't come down until they lifted their feet off of it. And also, the helicopter in Italian is electro, so I imagine Eli is similar to the English heli/heli. Heli/heli, I don't know how to pronounce that thing, shortening for helicopter. Edit, as was pointed out in a helpful comment below. This was confirmed in the last minute of the video that I apparently didn't listen to. Haha. Also, oh my gosh, I really hope you do a full-blown documentary about the rise and fall of coin-operated kiddie rides. At some point, my friend who has a special interest in this stuff did a voiceover for a coin-operated helicopter ride a few years ago, and now her voice can be heard all over the UK. It's crazy. And sometimes there's another one. Alright, I have to find these comments all about this ride. MMA Alone 139 says, used to work on Eli Copter back in the day when I worked there. Thanks for posting this vid. Our manual listed as Eli Helicopter. Can someone show up the manual? And do you know what's the song playing in the background after you insert the token in both of these kiddie rides, like a Crazy Balloon, Delta Superfly kiddie ride, or Eli Helicopter kiddie ride? The name of the song was playing in the background, which is weird and copyrighted. Like the song coming from the James Bond movies, what I called is the James Bond theme song. I'll play that theme song and put them on that helicopter photo so it sounds pretty more accurate. And also, many comments were saying all about the rides from your childhood, and so do I. I don't remember riding this, but I only ride some kiddie rides that were not heights for me. Like, I only rode the Bob the Builder Scoop Kiddie Ride by Jolly Roger, and the 94, 95 photo ride, and the modern photo ride. It was cool. And also, as for you, Amber the Fangirl, otherwise known as Amber Jones, if you're now watching this, why don't you find that kiddie ride and film the ride, was in the UK or in the US? And also, why don't you own the Eli helicopter kiddie ride with the crazy balloon, and that super Deltafly kiddie ride, and that glider rider for your next videos on Amber Jones' channel, like your channel? Now, let me explain further about the ride. Is all about from the past BC. Like, it's been a quick little bit trivia. $11.54. I used to work at CC, and this ride became a joke with me and my co-workers. We didn't have one at our location, but it was in the background of the birthday show video and always looked so creepy. Also, by the way, helicopter kiddie rides are so classic, and I love these rides, and I like how I have to go look down to the comments to see what is happening. They're talking about random stuff, none other than these kiddie rides, and I don't want to spend money on that. I don't want to waste my tokens or play passes, but if they have tokens in the coin mech of this ride in your local Chuck E. Cheese, and also, why don't you need the play pass for riding this ride? The helicopter thing is literally the only thing I remember of Chuck E. Cheese. This is such an unserious analysis of the helicopter thing at Chuck E. Cheese. I love it. New data content on the YouTube channel. Let's go. Okay, so in the early 2000s at the Pineville, North Carolina location, we all called it the copter bike. But also, we were for mentioning that one because it's one of the last with the original stuff, and you still pass the old Showbiz Pizza highway sign, literal highway sign. When headed there, yelled out, clear plastic and horrible clicking noise and everything. My parents did not allow me to play it. And so do I don't want to ride it. Also, by the way, Greshaminik 156 says, at my former Chuck E. Cheese that used to be at my location, it had the Storm Cloud hot air balloon ride and the Tic Tac clock. However, I didn't really ride them since I kind of had a fear of heights back then. It's interesting to research on one of the specific we always saw on the commercials. Same with me. When I was at my high school, when I was like a 9th grader and a 10th grader and a freshman or a sophomore, I was talking to my friend Serena Chigani, and I told her discussing about the kiddie rides were made by Memo Park in the 90s or 2000s, like the Super Deltafly kiddie ride, the Eli helicopter, the glider rider, and the crazy balloon. But she's saying that this is a Jamie Bond theme song instead of James Bond theme song. But anyways, this is the James Bond theme song, not Jamie Bond theme song. Nice try, Serena Chigani. Nice try, my little friend. Also, thank you. Also, Woke Moralist says, thank you for the unlocked memories. This reminded me of the one time I ever went to a Chuck E. Cheese, and it was one of the worst arcade experiences I ever had. My experience with the helicopter ride is that when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I decided to ride it. But as soon as I got on, a family showed up with a baby. I assumed they were just gonna wait, so I rode the thing to the top. But when I got to the top, the dad grabbed my foot and forced me down, asking me to move so he can let his baby ride. The other bad experience I had on that same day that I can remember was that I was playing skee ball myself. I already been playing for a little bit because I had some tickets piled up, but some other little kids showed up and started complaining loudly that I was trying to steal his tickets. I denied it, of course, but he called his mom over and told me, let's compromise. Let's just compromise. Split the tickets in half so you can both get tickets. And the kid was beaming, but I refused, so I snatched the tickets and ran. You could hear him crying on the other side of the arcade. That was interesting, and it was a little bad, I think. And that was it. And also, by the way, let's go to some of the comments all about this ride at a local Chuck E. Cheese at Lincoln, Nebraska. This is Yash XYZ, and while the Brad's Shashi 4914 says, the helicopter thing is literally the only thing I remember of Chuck E. Cheese. This is such an unserious analysis of the helicopter thing at Chuck E. Cheese. I love it. What about you? And also, by the way, there was a kitty ride I had to say about this. Here, let me pause this video. I have to pause the video one more time. Maddie Kalel 1270 says, here's a little Chuck E. Cheese Easter egg. As a former employee above the stage, at least at my location, there was a golden Chucky emblem of his face, and after the animatronics on stage finished their show, the emblem at the top actually winks. It's called the wink, or cyberamic wink. A lot of locations are removing the stages with the animatronics, so not sure how many are left. We also threw out one of those kiddie rides, and it sat behind our building forever. Checking behind the building, you just might find the broken ride on sitting there. You would think. Also, Michael Persico 9531 says, he replied, you would think CC would have a system to pick them up and refurbish them. At last but not least, some YouTube comments are all about the local Chuck E. Cheese at Lincoln. At last but not least, some comments are talking about that they went to another local Chuck E. Cheese at the Lincoln, Nebraska location. They're saying that this kiddie ride called a Crazy Balloon, the store had a Crazy Balloon rather than the Eli Helicopter kiddie ride, or Super Deltafly and the Glider Rider kiddie ride. That's all. That's always. Also, we found the footage of the Eli Helicopter kiddie ride in the circa year 2002, where this kiddie ride works like that. And some comments have been mentioned. The James Bond theme song can be heard during the ride. let's move on. Another video, some comments are all about the soundtrack is from Mission Possible, and the fancy name might make sense for a spy ride. James Futches once said, "Is Eli for Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible 2? I'm pretty sure the soundtrack is from Mission Impossible, starring Tom Cruise, and the fancy name might make sense for a spy ride. It's James Bond. The song plays in the background. It's called the James Bond theme song playing in the background." And also, Darth Garden says, "Wait, is that James Bond music in the background?" Defunctland, yeah. But why is there James Bond music in the background? Because it's copyright and it makes sense, and also it makes sense and it was a little copyrighted or something like that, and it was weird by CQ Fox. CQ Fox says, "Defunctland, yeah. But why is there James Bond music in the background?" Because it makes sense and it was copyrighted. Or it's being weird or something like that. I already said that. And also, by the way, is that the James Bond theme in the background? Sir Duke 9567 says, "Is that the James Bond theme in the background?" Yes, they said that. Dayfish 2280 saying that you might be on to something. What if it's called Little Eli in the Italian dub? Good question. Double checking my facts, but is the small song being played at the start of the ride from James Bond? Kind of. We found it. The Eli code has been solved. Now, why do they need a 42-minute training video on a helicopter-shaped doohickey kids ride? Maintenance and safety? Also, by the way, 00044, ha. Why is the James Bond theme playing? That's actually funny. Okay, good, so I'm not crazy. It's gotta be from another ride near it or something. Pinball machine or arcade game, maybe, but it's on the actual ride. Yay, more comments for this video. Nice. So, according to the, I don't know what's the name of the channel. Let me look up. Shut up, music. Alright. According to the Chucky Entertainment, he's saying that all of the helicopter kiddie rides can be removed, all of their locations, including mines, including the Hicksville Chuck E. Cheese in New York. Like, we're going to remove one of the Eli helicopter kiddie rides in all the Chuck E. Cheese stores in the U.S., including my locations that I went there, including my childhood local Chuck E. Cheese in Hicksville, New York as a legacy store, and also there was the Stafford, Texas, and Sugarland, Texas location. Like, I went to these two Chuck E. Cheese locations at Stafford, Texas, and Sugarland, Texas. I went there, but my local Chuck E. Cheese in Sugarland, Texas had a similar ride called Chucky's Glider Rider, similar to the original, but the Chucky version. And also, the ride is very similar to the original Glider Rider, Crazy Balloon, or even the Eli helicopter with the Delta Superfly Kiddie ride. But the ride goes up and down, except the ride didn't rotate and doesn't play the same audio as one of the previous rides, along with the original Glider Rider, Crazy Balloon, even the Eli helicopter kiddie ride and the Delta Superfly kiddie ride. But according to Chucky Entertainment, they're saying that all the Crazy Balloons and original and Chucky-themed Chucky's Glider Rider kiddie rides, or the Delta Superfly kiddie rides or the Eli helicopter kiddie rides have been removed. All the locations, including my locations, such as the Hicksville Chuck E. Cheese at Hicksville, New York, Sugarland, Texas, and Stafford, Texas. Those are one of my childhood local Chuck E. Cheese and my local Chuck E. Cheese in Hicksville, New York, Stafford, Texas, and Sugarland, Texas. And there's one in Flushing, New York, but it was a Delta/Superfly kiddie ride rather than Eli and the Crazy Balloon. Like, it has a Delta Superfly kiddie ride rather than the Eli helicopter kiddie ride and the Crazy Balloon kiddie ride and the Chucky's glider rider or the original glider rider kiddie rider or stuff like that. I don't think so. Besides, you have them now, really. It was removed since the mid or late 2010s, throughout the early to the mid or late 2020s came around. But the ride itself was also pretty unique. But the rides were produced in the 90s or 2000s. They first used it since the early to the mid or late 1990s or early to the mid or late 2000s or the early to the mid 2010s, and sometimes even in the late 2010s, or even in the early to the mid or late 2020s. And that was in conclusion. So that was the conclusion of these Memo Park kiddie rides were made between the Delta/Superfly kiddie ride, Eli helicopter kiddie ride, original glider rider kiddie ride, or less than, none other than the Chucky's glider rider kiddie ride, and finally the Crazy Balloons. So that was it for now, and remember to like and subscribe to my channel called Charlie05, a parody of Daddy05. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget notifications on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, etc. Plus many more. Thank you and see you next time. Bye. Peace.
Control it, don't eat, do it fast. Control it, no, eat, don't. Thomas, Percy, Gordon, Diesel, two. Duck, James, Toby, and the two. Fat, the gang, that's sex all day. Ha 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 ha. Control it, don't eat, do it fast. Control it, no, eat, don't. Nick, 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 nick. Fast. Control it, don't eat, do it fast. Control it, no, eat, don't. Thomas, Percy, Gordon, Diesel, two. Duck, James, Toby, and the two. Fat, the gang, that's sex all day. Ha 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 ha. Control it, don't eat, do it fast. Control it.